Right now my band's got a bunch of songs and we're currently trying to decide what is going to be recorded for this record that we're recording now and what is going to wait until the next one to get recorded. Between the songwriters and the band, we currently have about 30-ish songs, and some of those have been a regular part of our live rotation for some time. Some of those only exist in demo form. Now we need to decide which of those go together as a set, and crucially, this is not a question of what are the 10 or so best songs in this set. It's which of these fit together to make an album. I had this idea a while back that because we've built up so many unreleased songs, we should just call this next record 10 More Songs by the Revelator. But I still want this to feel like a cohesive work, so I'm gonna write a little one-page document about what this album should feel like. This is adapted from the idea of a TV show Bible, which is something that TV showrunners will make to help sell a show and quickly explain to execs what their show is going to be about and what it'll feel like for viewers. I had to write a few of these in film school, and I actually found it really helpful, so I figured, why not do it for an album? And the goal here is twofold. First off, it's going to give me and the band a core set of principles that we can reference while picking songs and recording, so that this group of songs that weren't written to be on a record together start to feel like a cohesive unit. And the second goal is to serve as a reminder of why we started recording this album in the first place, when the slog of finishing a record inevitably gets discouraging. I have come to accept self-doubt and creative frustration as an inevitable part of my artistic practice, and now incorporate exercises like this album Bible to help recenter myself and get back to the core of my inspiration when a project gets tough. I'll start by listening through all the songs that we have and identifying themes to see if there are any commonalities. That can be commonalities in lyrical themes, instrumentation of the songs, vibe of certain songs. Then I'll start asking more pretentious questions like, where do these songs feel like they're set? Are there any visuals associated with these songs, and do I want to group those together or try to make a more diverse set in terms of imagery? What are my strongly held notions about music that can make this album reflect both myself and my band right now, and the world at large in this moment? And are there any limitations I have in my recording setup, and how can I make those work to my advantage in this project? As an example, here's a rough overview of the album Bible that I made for our last record, Removing a Heart is More Art Than Science. I'd written about 40 songs that I was considering to be part of that record, and as I listened through them, I started to realize that a recurring theme in a lot of my favorites was forgiveness. So that sort of became a guiding light that helped me decide which songs were going to fit together best. After I showed that first set of trimmed down demos to my bandmate Amanda, she mentioned that a lot of the songs sounded like they took place in a desert. So I started imagining the album as this journey wandering through the desert in search of forgiveness. And when I started thinking about the album as a journey, I had the idea to use the 5 stages of grief as a potential framework for the track listing, starting with songs with elements of denial and working our way to songs that embody acceptance or, in this case, forgiveness. There were also some musical ideas I'd always wanted to try that I put into that manifesto. Like, I wrote in there that every album should have a melodic theme that appears throughout the record. And obviously not every album has that. I don't think the Beatles ever did that. But the fact that I put it in there got me excited enough about it that I did the hard work of identifying a theme in the album and then incorporating it into multiple songs. And I'd also always wanted to try having a sound bed in an album, and I got so excited writing about it that I actually went out and found audio recorded in a West Texas desert. So now when you listen to Removing a Heart, you hear wind blowing through a canyon, you hear natural bird songs, you hear coyotes howling. And my hope was that all those elements would sort of tie the record together and really give the listener the feeling that I was experiencing while writing that material. And hopefully that resulting in not just tying the record together, but also giving that feeling of a journey through the desert. Now, a minute ago I said I'd written about 40 songs for Removing a Heart is More Art Than Science, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the quiet part out loud. Not all of those were good songs. I wrote some bad songs that didn't make it on that project. It's also true that I was too close to the material to be an effective judge of what was good and what wasn't. Writing my own album Bible gave me a rubric I could use to critique my work without making a value judgment on it, because I didn't have to ask, is this song good enough? I was asking, does this song fit into this collection? And I think by creating this arbitrary standard, I naturally ended up selecting the best material within that set. And some songs that weren't quite ready got a little more time to marinate. Now, obviously, none of this is necessary to make a great record. I've never heard about the Beatles doing this, and they still managed to make some pretty okay stuff. But I think it's really helped me, so I wanted to toss it out there and just ask what other songwriters are doing that helps them get through the songwriting process. Have you tried something like this, or is there another practice that you like that helps you create purpose in the art making process? I would love to hear about it, so leave us a comment or shoot us a message, and I think that's everything I had.